ready to put in that work all the time, 24/7. Hi, I started adult ballet approximately 4 months ago. Let's talk about how you can get into ballet. There is of course 2 ways you can go about this. You can either have one-to-one lessons with a teacher, or you can do classes. I personally do one-to-one lessons, but I guess that's quite similar to classes. First of all, what you'll need, you can literally go with just socks to get the feel if you'll actually like something like this. I loved it, and now I have one-to-one lessons 3 times a week for an hour and a half. But I would actually suggest getting yourself some flats. I have got the block flats, they're amazing. I did have flats from Amazon which were about £7, and I can definitely tell the difference between my block ones and the Amazon ones, so it depends how committed you want to be, if it's going to be a casual thing or you're going to be fully stuck in. You also need a bottle of water, and that's all you'll need for your first lesson. My ballet bag has become quite a treasure trove since starting, so if you wonder what's in my bag, I'll tell you what I bring in my bag. My teacher is a Russian teacher, so we do learn in her way and we do learn by her rules, so this may change from, you know, person to person, class to class, country to country. Honestly, it's not as scary as you think. I'm a neurodiverse girl, and maybe because it was one-to-one, it was less scary for me, but I expected to hate it in terms of interacting, and I expected to hate the interaction kind of thing and be really nervous, but honestly your teacher's going to make you feel so at ease and it won't be as scary as you think. Now, don't go into this thinking it's going to be a walk in the park, thinking it's going to be the most easiest thing in the world. I've gone from weightlifting for 10 years into ballet, so I have pretty strong legs, and I thought, oh, it's going to be so easy. No. You're going to need to learn to work on everything from your turnout, your hip flexibility, your hip strength, your leg strength, the way you hold your arms. There's so much to think about when it comes to ballet. Just be prepared to learn. I have a whole plan and like a study plan on how I learn ballet, and I can show you that too. I've got printouts, I've got a schedule on everything that I train every single week, from my feet to my hips, just to little intricacies that you wouldn't think to ever do. One-to-one lessons are pretty pricey. You can definitely find adult classes just by googling in your area, and they're probably going to be about £15 to £30 depending on your area. I live in the countryside, but my ballet teacher is in the city, and I think her classes are £15, I believe. And then the lessons one-to-one can range from like 50 to 60 depending on how I'm really hot, it's so hot, depending on how many hours you want. Clothes, I have got my leotard from Amazon. I also have nipple pads because my nipples always want to say hello and I don't like the way it looks, but this is from Block. My tights are Capezio and Block, and I just got this, I've always had this, but it's from Vinted and I cut it. You're going to want to wear something that makes you feel comfortable. You don't have to wear the whole leotard combo like this. You can literally wear what you want, as long as, I would suggest, tight fitting so you can see your body. You need to see your body and how it moves, and your teacher, okay, your teacher also needs to see how your body is going to move. Now, you will look at yourself a lot in the mirror, so just be prepared for that. For a job, I have to look at myself all the time anyway, but even for me, there is times when I look at myself and I'm just looking at myself like, you know, so just be prepared that the mirror is there. And I think a lot of people haven't spoke about this, maybe they're not as insecure as me, but I've had to get used to looking at myself in the eye a lot, and also dealing with the fact that I'm not young, so I'm not gonna be a professional, or I'm not going to be as good as other people who've been doing it since they were 5, but I grew up with no money, so I couldn't afford to do dance. That's not going to stop you from doing it. I still do it. One thing that I think is really important to learn, be ready to put in that work. So I do at least 1 to 2 hours a day of body conditioning training at home, such as working on my balance. I didn't think this would be this hard, but it's actually very hard. A lot of calf workouts, you can do this at home. Getting on a higher releve is really important, which is just like that, like getting higher like that basically, and just putting in that work. It's not, if you want to do well, it's not going to be one of those things where you can just pick up, and ballet definitely humbled me. Ballerinas are incredible, and learning ballet has taught me that it's definitely one of the hardest things physically that I've ever done, and mentally. If you have any questions about what to do, or like how to start, or how I felt, or anything about my journey, let me know. This is going to be a page where I share everything. As I said, this is my 4th month and I'm loving it, but I did feel a bit, I don't know, behind. I feel very behind because obviously I am behind, and I just need to let that go. But also, yeah, I think we all have, oh shush! I think we all have bad days and good days with everything. Even when I was weightlifting in the past, I did think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna quit this, but I'm fully invested. And yeah, any questions, let me know. Bye.